is we'll have a small classified ad, lose weight, call this 800 number, we'll send you a 30-page booklet on how, on 7 steps on how you can do this. Chances are anyone who's interested in losing weight will call this 800 number because we're going to give them a 30-page booklet on how to do this in 7 steps. So you'll have a qualified audience, and these are the people who are ready and interested today, not from a mailing list that was rented from 2 months ago that every other company in the business have rented already. Compiled lists, again, there are certain industries who will work with you, and their membership, again, if it's you're selling vitamins, if you approach various gyms or what have you, or some of these fitness outlets, they have a membership list. Now, if you say, I'll give you $2 for every one of your membership lists, but we will not say where we got the name, but we know these guys are interested in health and fitness, but I guess to round that out, they need some vitamins. So again, a lot of times these guys may either give you the names, and on their letterhead, some of them will go as far as giving it on their letterhead, endorsing this service, or they'll supply you the names. But you're sending to a qualified list of customers. Mailing list broker, again, often you run out of the first 2 fairly quickly, or you're looking for an easy way of getting names. And again, there isn't a shortage of mailing list brokers out there. And as long as you're specific and you tell them the kind of customer profile you're looking for, they'll match you with that. And again, don't go crazy, though they'll give you all kinds of incentives that if you rent all 50,000 names, it's only half price, but it's $2,500. Start off with the minimum. It might be 100, it might be 500 names. And again, most time when you rent a list, it's a one-time rent only. You think you're tricky by loading into your hard drive or photocopying these labels before you used up the real ones, only to find out they've been salted, and you'll get another invoice. Again, it's a one-time rental, so be really careful when you sign those contracts there. But again, make sure you're specific and qualified. Once you know this list works, then roll it out, because you probably can't handle 200 orders right away anyways. So just take 500 names at a shot, and chances are it'll show you. If it doesn't work, then you haven't wasted all your money. Some 2 addresses that you might find useful. Beeline Publications. They're one of the largest mail order companies in the US, but what they have is a catalog of catalogs. And a lot of times, rather than you creating a catalog of your own, which is unknown and very expensive to produce, it's easy to put your product into a catalog that's already known. So this directory will give you the list of all these catalogs. We have the equivalent in Canada called Canadian Catalog of Catalogs as well, unlike the Beeline one. So, or you can go to the card directory to find out the names of these publications. But the main thing is what we're trying to do is get our product picked up by a company who's already producing a nice catalog that's already known. Even though it costs you to put your product into their catalog, chances are you'll get the distribution that normally you would not get, but it's professionally presented. National list of advertisers. There was someone at the break I was talking about who's looking for call centers, fulfillment houses, or what have you. This is where you'll find all those service type of providers. Whether you're just looking for a service bureau who provides 800 or order taking, they'll provide warehouse facilities, fulfillment. Again, in the back part here, it'll give you all the people who provide this nationally. But in the front part, really is a list of advertising agencies. You don't necessarily need an advertising agency, but they'll probably know some things that you and I don't know. Again, that's their expertise. You will pay for it, but it's worth it. I had a meeting this afternoon, again, with one of our students there. And he's the one who's designing this vitamin business there. And he wanted to have his brother-in-law's sister do up a logo for the company, just to save some money. But again, we're trying to project a professional image here. And we have a graphic artist that we work with, Leon. And he's about 70 years old, but he has so much experience in graphic arts. And for $200, he would not pay $200 to get a professional logo designed for the company. So again, there is a place for advertising agencies. You can get by without them, but they can give you and point out things that you wouldn't even know about. And money is wisely invested, I believe, at least initially, to get some consultation to design, I guess, a profile or a concept for your business there. But in the back part provides you some of those resource information there. 7, if needed, arrange financing for your venture. Avoid going to debt, and then take advantage of any free government assistance and handout. Again, this may be your first step or your last step. For most of us, it's probably our first step, but it will come full circle in most cases anyways. But the first step in any business endeavor is, and you've heard it over and over, is to come up with a business plan. No one's even going to think of loaning you any money unless they see that you're serious about your opportunity. And they'll say, well, I've got it all up in my head here. Again, if you're looking for $10,000 or $100,000, they want to see in writing that you've documented, you researched it, you've got backup plans or what have you. And even after that, they're still not prepared to loan you money. But at least you have taken the initiative to show that you're serious about borrowing money from them. Generally, there are three sources that you're going to approach to obtain financing. And it may be today, it may be 6 months down the road, or a year from, but you should be aware that this business plan should be the first step. And in black and white, you'll know right away if it's still worth carrying on. Most people, in their mind, they work out the profitability and then just go crazy, only to find out if they had done up a business plan, the financial rewards just wasn't there after they thought it out, the expenses that were involved. Banks, government, and equity financing. In the real world, it's probably the other way that you're going to obtain the financing. Banks, statistically, believe it or not, they're known to provide 70 to 80% of all the financing to existing businesses. The key word is existing business when you don't need the money or a line of credit and after you've given a pound of your flesh or what have you there. But they are the ones who provide most of the financing to business today, but they will not finance a startup. It's just too risky for them, the undertaking. But once they've seen you business for a year or two, they'll probably be the first one to come forward to give you a line of credit or what have you, or to finance your inventory or your equipment or what have you. But for working capital, meaning paying salaries for advertising, you'll never get a dime out of a bank. So you're going to have to look at the government or equity financing. Equity financing, I really believe, is where you're going to obtain the initial money. And there are three levels. Friends, acquaintances, family. The second level are professional lenders, what we call venture capitalists, and then there are limited partnerships. These are professional guys who will do up an offering through a syndication or what have you there. And there is a big money to be borrowed from here because there are tax advantages through limited partnerships. So we actually want to see a loss. If you ever see some of these startup companies, they're losing $1 million a month, like the Financial Post. But these investors needed the write-off when they bought these shares into this venture. So it actually worked to their benefit in buying these type of shares. So there are definitely people out there who have a tax problem, who's prepared to buy shares in your company, and they know that you're going to see a loss for the first 3 to 6 months, but right away it's going to turn around as well because there's a proven opportunity there. I just want to finish up and summarize, I guess, again, in 3 hours, it's really difficult to cover such an extensive topic there. But I really believe it's going to probably take you 3 to 7 products before you find the one product that you will cash in on. But the 7 steps that I went through, if you follow these 7 steps, the second time around, the third time around, it'd definitely be a whole lot easier. So to recap, the first step is simply to come up with an idea or find yourself a product or someone who's willing to provide you a product to market. Number 2 is just simply get some samples. Again, don't invest too much money in inventory at this stage. Number 3, do the research. Again, that's a step that will tell you whether you should walk away or sort of continue on building this opportunity. Number 4, again, was to, if necessary, take the precaution to protect your ideas or your product. Number 5, again, get a copy of card or at least go to the library to see how much advertising is really going to cost you. Most people underestimate how much advertising out there in real dollars is, no matter what medium. Number 6, market your product in as many ways as you can. We talked about mail order and import-export today, but there are other ways you can market your product. I can assure you, you've got staff sitting there who's not doing anything. You've got inventory sitting there. Just look at telemarketing or some other way just to sell your product one more way. And number 7, again, if needed, arrange the financing there.